We are here. Every philosopher, artist, musician, scientist, politician, dictator, murderer, and Paul brother has been born within the confines of planet Earth. It started about 60,000 years ago when Homo sapien became the hominid of all hominids. Our closest relative is the Homo neanderthalensis. They were excellent hunters, used complex stone tools, and always passed the joint to the left. On paper, it seems that this genus was more apt for this world, but within 5,000 years of meeting them, they were gone. All of them. What sets us apart is our larger frontal lobe, and we believe that it's the reason that we are the conquerors of the world, while all other hominids have died off from the face of the planet. This neurological advantage has given us stronger decision-making skills. It's an ability that's allowed our species to thrive for hundreds of thousands of years. And despite it being hardwired into my brain, despite it being a critical component of my survival, I still can never find a fucking show to watch. The larger frontal lobe also affects our social behavior, allowing us to build relationships and trust with the ones around us, ensuring that my pile of nuts is also his pile of nuts, and his pile of Shrek the Third DVDs is also my pile of Shrek the Third DVDs. Perhaps most importantly, and possibly why you're watching this video right now and not some dude that looks like this, is because we learned to make big wordy noises, allowing us to do things no other species had ever done before. And over the course of several millennia, we became the ultimate hominid, winning a genetic war of attrition without a single battle, proving once and for all that brains is in fact over brawn. So that's that. Humans began to populate the globe, meandering around as hunter-gatherers. The lands were barren, the climate was hostile, and death lurked in every corner. So basically Florida. Many assume the humans of this era were dummies and just sat around staring at each other and playing with sticks. But by this time, we had mastered fire. We cooked food and kept warm. We developed language and buried the dead. We expressed ourselves in the form of cave paintings and sculptures. These humans were big brain. Each member needed to communicate effectively, have general knowledge of the surrounding geography, and know which berries were safe to eat and which ones would send them to the prehistoric gates of hell. Progress would give way to advancements in agriculture, shifting a nomadic species into a sedentary one. And suddenly, if I don't find food, I'll die, turned into, if you eat my food, you'll die, and then into, I'm pretty full, but I could eat some more, and then into,
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number...
And on humanity went, giving rise to towns, and cities, and empires. How the fuck? Sad, breakable, and generally pathetic, but enough about kids named Jacob. Humans are not a formidable species physically, but we can do language. And if we can do language, then we can do myths. And if we can do myths, then we can take over the world. There are billions of items that will be owned by you and the billions of people around you because we all believe in a myth called money. I hand you some paper, and in exchange, you give me the stuff I need to survive. And it works largely because most of us believe in the myth. The same applies to universities, government, celebrities, you name it. You see, because we can create these myths, these abstract thoughts that live in our head, we can create tools and Billie Eilish and cheesecake. Language is probably the gateway drug to civilization, and early man must have smoked a couple ounces of it. It took hundreds of thousands of years to reach 1 billion humans. That was in 1805. 100 years later, and we doubled it to over 2 billion by 1930. And in 2011, we reached a staggering 7 billion people. In total, there's been 107 billion of us. That's generations upon generations of love, pain, struggle, determination, anger, fear, and joy that you've turned a blind eye to. It's easy to forget that there's been others who've lived lives infinitely intricate as your own, surrounded by billions of others with their own goals and mistakes and triumphs. While you may be the protagonist, the star at the center of your unfolding story, one thing is for certain. You sure as hell aren't for them. For the most part, you won't even make as much as a cameo in the lives of most of the humans that have existed and will ever exist. In the lives that you will be a part of, for most of them, you'll be a background character. A blurred figure sipping coffee in the back of a coffee shop. A passerby on a street. A momentary flash of traffic on a highway. a lit window, and a cascade of never-ending glass. And while you move on to the next scene of your life, behind you remain flickers of personality engulfed in a cloud of backstory and inside jokes and other characters strung together with countless other stories that you'll never see. There are and will be countless tales that will go unknown and unappreciated. Why bother at all when yours will too? But then again, to realize that you are not special, that you are just one in a collective of billions is a feeling unlike any other. To understand that life exists outside your scope of reality is to be in a moment of Sonder. And when you live in that brief moment, you'll understand that you aren't you, and that really you are we. And you'll get to understand that there is almost nothing that we can't do because we choose to do it. We are the ones who discovered fire, the ones who populated the earth. We are the things that created tools from literally nothing, and then with them, we did everything. We hunted and we gathered. We made the wheel, we made farms, then cars, then we created capitalism, and then we have stepped into an era of technological potency. We're capable of molding the earth to how we see fit, cutting down forests and terraforming the landscape as if we had World Edit installed in our mods folder. We are invincible. We've outsmarted time, we outsmarted death, we outsmarted disease and crops and the weather, and soon we'll outsmart the solar system, and then the galaxy, then the universe. There will come a day when we will overcome our troubles and worries here on Earth and reach out into the cosmic void that holds us bound. Hopefully, by then, the problems that once plagued our people will be nothing more than an ancient inconvenience. For now, we will not be a full stop in the story of time. At the very least, we must be a semicolon. On behalf of our ancient cousins and the 107 billion before us, we must move forward. But so far, we've done a hell of a job. 60,000 years ago gave rise to Homo sapien. Early hominids were making flutes from bones and the first cave painting was made. 50,000 years after that, we domesticated dogs, sheep, goats, cattle. Over the next 10,000 years, we made the wheel, we wrote our first words, we put up pyramids, we created the first fictional stories, and we invented ice cream. We theorized the earth revolved around the sun, and Sir Isaac Newton established the laws of motion. In 1769, the steam engine was created. We discovered the atom in 1808. The first computer was made in 1837. We made the telephone, then the light bulb. Albert Einstein created the theory of special relativity, and then 32 nations participated in the war to end all wars. Then the Great Depression, and shortly after, World War II. Then came the first atomic bomb, then the Beatles, then the first man to walk on the moon. Then we created the internet in 1990, and today, the state of the human union stands strong because we have habitually chosen to push the boundaries of what it means to be Homo sapien. From the first hominid, to the theories of Einstein, to the work ethic of Kobe, and the never-ending determination of DJ Khaled. We exist to change our place in the universe. Our place in the universe will reveal itself as long as humanity endures, and humanity will endure as long as we continue to move forward. And if you don't believe me, well, just look at what we've done.